Hey, Gigg's Moviepage, Michael here. I just got out of the theaters, picked up some dinner, Mexican food, and beer. Good. No shameless promotion. I just wanted to get home fast. Anyways, this is my review of John Wick Chapter 2. Trying to process the movie in my head. I've been dying for the sequel to happen because to me, this is Keanu's comeback picture. I mean, it wasn't like he hadn't done movies in years. He had just done indie films, and then he did this movie, and then everyone's like, you know what, forget the idiot surfer boy gimmick, because in this one, Keanu just like shattered it, and now that the first movie came out was a moderate success, and then it killed the DVD Blu-ray market. Lionsgate, Some Entertainment, and the boys just said we need to do a sequel, and so they said, okay, we're going to do a sequel. The same director came back, Charles Wolski. I can't pronounce his last name, Cole Slad, who wrote the first movie, came back to do this one too. They decided we're going to go ahead and do what we got to do to try to replicate the first one, but also more mythos about Jean, his past, more about the Continental and that whole underworld network of assassins and other stuff. And before I talk about it, I'll just get straight to the movie. So the movie begins with John chasing this guy on a motorcycle and the Chevelle that Aurelio gave him. John goes through downtown New York. He finally gets the guy, and you figured he was going to kill him, but he just takes this key card, gets into this Chevelle, and drives off. And then, of course, we meet this unnamed Russian mob boss played by Peter Stormare. Surprise, surprise. He's sitting there smoking a cigar, and he's just trying to get his product out and just trying to figure out what am I going to do. And so we realize that he's actually Viggo Tarok's brother, played by Nyquist in the original version, who he just basically says, this is madness. What do you mean? My nephew stole this car. And I was thinking, oh man, this is Viggo's brother. So this is Yosef's uncle and Viggo's brother, who's also in the same same part of the family network, I guess. To make a long story short, John tells him, you have my car. He gets the Mustang back, and then he ultimately destroys it by taking out all these guys in a hell of a high-speed pursuit around the building. After John dispatches the thugs, he goes up to Peter Stormare's character, looks at him and just pours 2 cups of vodka, gives him and just says, peace, in Russian. So then after that, it's like, okay, I killed your brother and I killed your nephew. If you really want to go right now, let's do this. Otherwise, I'm leaving. I'm taking my car, and that's that. Okay. So he lets him live. John makes it all the way home, along with a busted Ford Mustang, and basically with his new dog just tries to go back to living the old life. I'm not that guy. I'm not Baba Yaga anymore. Aurelio makes a cameo to fix the Mustang and tells him it's going to be ready by Christmas 2030. So John's trying to get back the life by burying his guns and his weapons with new concrete. Unfortunately, if somebody from his past, Santino Di Sanjo, I cannot, the actor's name is Rocco, I can't remember his last name, but he comes and tells John, I need you to do something for me, and pulls out this gold medallion, saying that John owes him a marker, and that if it hadn't been for that marker, John wouldn't be able to get out, which means that Viggo didn't get John out. It was basically this guy, Santino, who helped. So, more surprises. John refuses, saying, I'm not that guy anymore, and then, of course, Santino tells him, this is a blood test, you know the rules. You do this, if not, there's no going back. So John just says, I'm sorry, I'm not that guy anymore, Santino. Santino says, okay, and then just leaves. So John's just trying to, go about his day. Santino gets a grenade launcher, loads it, and like an asshole just bombs his house. John escapes, and yes, the dog survives too, but now he realizes, okay, now I'm mad. All my photos of my wife Helen are gone. My stuff's gone, my suits, everything. So John talks to his deputy, Jimmy, just like, evening, Jimmy, evening, John. Gas leak? Gas leak. You working again? Good night, Jimmy. And so John, there's only one place John can go, the Continental, which is still being run by Winston, played by Ian McShane. After meeting the concierge, played by Lance Reddick, he asks him, "Is Winston in?" Yes, and that's it. So then he asks him flat out, Winston. I told him no. Jonathan, why did you do that? You know there's 2 rules you never do. No killing on Continental, and you always honor your markers. You know this, Jonathan. Fine. So then he asks Santino, what do you want me to do? I want you to kill my sister. What? If she dies, I get her share at the table, and I could come and do whatever I want to. So John's just like, that's totally fucking insane. And then Santino just tells him, I did bomb your house. Imagine what I'll do next. John reluctantly agrees, goes to this old bank, gets out a couple suits, his handgun, and some more gold currency, and goes to Rome to take out his mission. While there, he goes to the Rome Continental. Yeah, there are Continentals all over the world. And he meets the Italian Winston. I forget his character name, but he's played by legendary Italian actor Franco Nero, the original Django. And he tells him, I'm going to need to do this assignment. And he says, Jonathan, before I ask you one thing, I need to ask you something. Are you here for the Pope? No? Okay then. So with the help of a guy who knows the city landscape, a gun runner, and a tailor, John must complete his mission by killing Santino's sister. Unfortunately, things don't go well when an old associate of his, Cassian, played by Common, basically is asking him if he's working. He says, afraid so. Problem is, Cassian is now angry because John does do his task, but Cassian is now on his tail. And while this is happening, Santino's number 1 assassin, his right-hand woman, played by Ruby Rose, damn, she's busy, decided now she's gonna kill John, loose ends. So to make matters worse, even after he completed his marker, Santino wants to kill John just for being A, an asshole, and B, a hypocrite. Winston, while they're writing the ledger saying that the marker is complete, is disgusted by saying, you stabbed the devil in the back. You burnt his house down. Hell will be unleashed on you, Santino. Congratulations. So Santino, being extremely petty, decides to open a contract on John, $7 million, which means everybody's after John. So while he's a wanted man, the only person he can turn to is the Bowery King, played by Lawrence Fishburne, the Matrix Union, to help him complete his task. To me, I was cool with the movie. I liked what happened. They didn't rush the sequel. They took their time and made it perfect. Keanu's still a badass with a gun, a knife, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the judo, and Japanese jiu-jitsu. He did his thing. It's like all the actors did boot camp to make sure that they could look fantastic. Common did his thing with the knife attacks. Ruby Rose looked like she knew what she was doing. Everything was fine. All the actors were great. Keanu, of course, comes back. Ian McShane as Winston returns. John Leguizamo in a small part came back. The new guys were fantastic. Whether it's Common, Ruby Rose, and of course, Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus. That was great. Carrie-Anne Moss is missing, and I hope she comes back for the third one. And of course, cameos from small little parts from Franco Nero and what was his name again? Oh, tip of my tongue. Oh, Peter Stormare. So everybody was fantastic. I love the fact that they went straight into the Continental mythos. When the funniest scene in the movie that made me laugh was Wick and Cassian have a street fight that goes right into a window, and the next scene, they're being surrounded by men, and Franco Nero's character is like, gentlemen, you know the rules. We do not fight on continental ground. May I remind you of the penalties? No, signore. No. Good. May I recommend you go to the bar and have a drink and relax? Rum, Cassian? Yeah. Whiskey, John? Yeah. They go and they end up having a drink. So that was one of the funniest bits in the whole movie. And then of course there's a whole Baba Yaga, and they kept mentioning certain things. I like the fact that they didn't just gloss over, oh, we did this and now it's done. It's like, no, you got to mention what happened in the first movie for this to happen. I hate when sequels just skip and just say, forget it, that didn't happen. Better, good sequels do that. Trying to think. Tyler Bates did the same music. He came back. Don't hold me to this, but when they were in Rome and they were playing this band, I could have sworn that they were doing a cover of Killing Strangers from the first movie that Marilyn Manson did, but they didn't bring that song back. But they brought back some of the old musical cues. John was, did pretty damn good. Yeah, he gets a couple new Glocks. He gets a new an AR-15 and a new, auto pump shotgun. He gets a couple brand new suits in black. I gotta look good in black, which is why, So, they are going to do a third movie. I don't want to give it away, but Keanu and the producers said that we want to do a third movie. And they always plan to do a trilogy. And since the first movie was fantastic, this movie, we're going to go ahead and do it that way too. So, I'm going to keep it short and simple. My dinner's getting cold. I totally recommend John Wick Chapter 2. He's back. And now, there'll be hell to pay. By the way, I don't know if I'm going to see any movies this month, but I know the next one will definitely be Logan. So, y'all have a good night. And I am not seeing 50 Shades of Grey. That's not happening. So, happy Valentine's Day, folks, but screw it. I may see the Lego Batman movie, I don't know, but I sure as shit ain't seeing the 50 Shades of crap. Have a good night, guys.